Welcome to Book to Blueprint, where powerful books become practical blueprints for real life. You do not need more information, you need execution. This is Book to Blueprint. So today, we're not just going to talk about a book. We are going to build a blueprint, a real action plan from the incredible ideas in Nudge by Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein. Think of this as your personal guide to putting these powerful concepts into practice, starting, well, right now. Let me just ask you something. What if you could design your world to make the best choices also the easiest choices? What if you could improve your health, your wealth, your happiness, and do the same for others, all without forcing anyone to do anything? Well, that is the powerful idea we are unlocking today. All right, let's dive in. Our blueprint is broken down into 6 simple parts. We're going to start with the goal, what you're actually aiming for. Then we'll unpack the big idea behind it all. From there, we'll get into the rules of the game and a super clear step-by-step plan. And finally, we'll talk about the habits that make it all stick and the common mistakes you'll want to avoid. It's basically your executive cheat sheet. Okay, first things first. What's the end game here? If you really apply this blueprint, what's the actual payoff? So here's the bottom line. You become what the authors call a choice architect. This means you learn how to consciously design the world around you so that the best decisions, like, say, saving more money or eating healthier or just being more productive, they become the easiest path, the default path for you and for the people around you. You can't build anything without understanding your materials. So let's get into the big ideas that form the foundation of our entire blueprint. So what in the world is a choice architect? Well, it's pretty much anyone who organizes the context for a decision. You could be designing a website, arranging a menu, or even just explaining a couple of options to a friend. In that moment, you're architecting a choice. And here's the part you really got to get. There is no such thing as a neutral design. How you present the options will always shape the outcome. And our main tool for the job? It's called a nudge. Now, a nudge isn't a rule. It's not a ban. It's just a subtle little tweak to the environment that makes one choice a bit more likely. So putting fruit at eye level in a cafeteria, that's a nudge. Banning junk food? Nope, that's a mandate. And the absolute key here is that a nudge has to be easy to ignore. It always preserves your freedom to choose. So why do these little nudges work so darn well? It all comes down to how our brains are wired. See, we have 2 different systems for thinking. First, there's our automatic system. That's our fast gut reaction, inner Homer Simpson. Then there's our reflective system, our slow, analytical, inner Mr. Spock. The most effective nudges, they don't bother trying to persuade Mr. Spock with a bunch of data. They work directly with Homer's desire for the easy, simple, intuitive option. Okay, every system has rules, and this one's no different. Now that we've got the foundational concepts down, let's look at the operating system. These are the core principles that tell you how to be a really effective choice architect. These are your 5 golden rules. First, defaults are powerful. Man, are they ever. Most people just stick with whatever is preset, so make your default the best possible choice. Think about opt-out retirement plans. Second, expect error. People mess up, so design systems with a safety net, like that little "are you sure" pop-up before a big purchase. Third, make it easy. Just remove every little piece of friction you can. That one-click order button, perfect example. Fourth, give feedback. People need to see the results of their choices, and fast. A smart thermostat that shows you real-time energy savings is incredibly powerful. And finally, leverage social norms. We are all influenced by what other people are doing. A hotel sign saying 75% of our guests reuse their towels just works better than a generic plea to save the planet. All right, this is it. This is the heart of our blueprint. We're moving from theory to practice with a clear, repeatable action plan you can use to design and implement your very own nudges. Here's your 4-step process. First up, identify. Find a decision where people are struggling. Something complex, something they don't do often, or something with way down the road consequences, like saving for retirement. Second, understand. You've got to dig into why they're struggling. What's the bias at play? Is it procrastination? Are they just overwhelmed? Third, design. Go back to your golden rules and pick a tool. Are you going to change the default, use the social norm, simplify the choices? And finally, and this is so important, implement and measure. You have to test it. Did behavior actually change? Don't just set it and forget it. You've got to be ready to tweak and improve. Look, being a good choice architect isn't just a one-time thing. It's a mindset. It means developing a few key habits that will literally change how you see the world around you. So your first habit is to become a default detective. In every single app you use, every form you fill out, every service you sign up for, I want you to ask yourself, what happens if I do absolutely nothing here? Is that default setting designed for my benefit or for someone else's? You want this question to become second nature. Second, you need to train yourself to hunt for friction. What tiny little, seemingly harmless obstacle is stopping a good decision from being made? Is it one extra click, a confusing question on a form, an unclear button? Your new job is to become completely obsessed with finding and destroying these tiny roadblocks that have huge consequences. And your third habit is this: become a master translator. You need to take complex, abstract stuff like interest rates or kilowatt hours and map it into simple, real-world outcomes that people can actually wrap their heads around. How much money is this going to save me each month? How does my energy use compare to my neighbors? You see, clarity itself is one of the most powerful nudges there is. You know, any powerful tool can be misused, and this is no exception. So in our final section, we're going to cover the critical mistakes, the ethical pitfalls that you absolutely must avoid as a choice architect. This is the dark side of choice architecture. What you're looking at is a real ballot from a 1938 German election. And that design is no accident. The yes circle is enormous and centered. The no circle is tiny and shoved off to the side. This isn't a helpful nudge, it's just blatant manipulation. And it's a really stark reminder of the number one ethical rule. Your nudges have to be transparent, and they must be designed to genuinely make people's lives better. The exact opposite of a helpful nudge is something the authors call sludge. This is when you deliberately add friction to make good decisions harder. Think about how difficult it can be to cancel some subscriptions or claim a rebate. That's sludge, and your goal is to eliminate it, never ever to create it. And here are 3 final pitfalls to watch out for. First, don't force people to choose when the options are really complex. The smart, well-designed default is often a much better and kinder approach. Second, never ever believe that your design is neutral. It isn't. It's always having an effect. Pretending it doesn't is a huge mistake. And finally, remember that nudges are not a silver bullet. For the really big, thorny, systemic problems, you're going to need bigger tools like policy and regulation. But even then, nudges can play a really valuable supporting role. So there you have it. You now have the blueprint. You've got the concepts, the rules, the action plan, and the ethical guardrails to become a true choice architect. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it? What is the very first choice in your life, or in your work, or in your community that you are going to re-architect for the better? If you have a book in mind that should be added to our list, comment below. If this blueprint helped you, subscribe, like, and build with us. More blueprints are coming. Stay intentional, stay consistent. We are doing this one book at a time. And remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So share this with them and grow together. Real progress becomes stronger when it is shared. Build your life one blueprint at a time. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you do.